Last time we ended with exporting the top front frame tube. So let's go ahead and left click on the part on the top front frame tube. So left click there. Then we're going to go to top view. So I've come over to the square. I'm going to left click on the top. I'm going to scroll over here. I'm going to hit sketch. So we're going to use a lot of the tools we've already used. Left click on the top plane, you'll see that it is now selected there. Left click center point circle. Hover over the center of the top plane and then drag that out. And then left click to disengage. Now you can come up here to center point circle, or you can just hit escape. If you come up here, you would left click on that center point circle to deactivate it. Let's go over to the dimension tool, left click on the dimension tool, left click on the outer diameter of the circle. We're going to make this 0.74 because we're going to put threads on this. We'll want it to be just smaller than what it's going to fit into. So now we can close that out. We're going to go back over to this cube. We're going to left click on the corner, left click on the front plane, come over, left click on sketch, left click inside the front plane. You notice it designated that as sketch 2, and you can also see it here. Come over to the line tool, left click on that, hover in the center of the front plane, left click and then drag up. Doesn't matter the length right now. Left click again. Now when I pull away, you'll notice it tries to make another line. I could come all the way over here and deactivate that. It'll turn off that line. Or I can just hit escape. Come up to the dimension tool, left click, come down, left click on the line, drag that out. And we'll want this to be 18.5 inches. So we're doing this to scale, but when we print it out, we're going to do half scale because we're going to make a small model of it. I'm going to click on the wheel, the center wheel of the mouse. I'm holding that down and I'm going to scroll out. Let's go ahead and close that sketch out. So left click on the check mark. We're going to come over to the cube and we're going to click in the upper corner to get to isometric view. We're going to go up to sweep. We're going to left click on that. We want solid new. It's going to ask faces and sketches, faces and sketch regions. We're going to click on the outer diameter. Now it's asking for the path to sweep. We're going to left click on that first and turn it blue. And then we're going to come over here, and when that line highlights, we'll left click. And then we can close that out. Let's scroll out here. So now we've created the swing arm tube, but we need threads on it because it's going to have to thread into part 1. Come over to Thread Creator, left click on that. We're going to come over and just highlight. Once that highlights, we'll left click. Now we don't want it fully threaded, so we're going to left click here and we're going to go distance. We'll want this first one to be 3 inches. And it's going to take it a while to kind of calculate, especially if we were to have done fully threaded, it takes it a while. It is done. Let's scroll in and look at this. Now look, that is fully threaded, but you can see here that my computer's running slow or the connection's running slow. But it'll eventually calculate that out. Now if this was in red, where it says threaded, you know there's a mistake. So you may have to restart, figure out what the mistake was. So that is 3 inches in length. Go up and let's do the thread again. So we click on thread. This time before we highlight, we don't cause the program to try to do fully threaded first before we change it. So it'll speed up the process. Let's do distance. And we'll keep everything the same except length of threads. Let's go 5 inches. One thing that we need to do after you've determined the length is now we need to change the direction. Once you do that, you can come over, highlight, click, and then close that out. It'll calculate that. This one's 5 inches in length. This one's 3. Once we assemble the part, I'll show you why this one needed to be 5 inches. Let's go over to part 2. Let's right click on that and let's rename this. This is going to be swing arm tube. So let's right click on that and let's go up, and we've already renamed. Let's edit appearance. Let's change the color of that. Let's change it to green and then check. And that'll help when we start assembling parts. Alright, that's all we had to do for part 2. So last time we exported part 1. We already have that on our computer. Let's export part 2. So we'll go over here to export. We'll keep all of these the same. Most of your 3D printing software is in millimeters. We'll export that. And then we'll bring those in to our slicing software.